during that period of time, we used to be prepared for that. It was 2010, 2011. Uh, our communication used to be on the phone messages and through emails. So, but that was the time of BlackBerry. If you remember, there was a time when BlackBerry was really hot. If you do crisis communication, you ought to have a BlackBerry in your hand. And it was that time. After that, Android brought the email on our phones, and BlackBerry became obsolete. But BlackBerry, the first messenger, I think, apart from MSN Messenger, the first phone messenger came from BlackBerry. That's where I experienced it.
Okay.
And the email used to be on the so that BlackBerry phone used to be really important. And one challenge for me was always to keep that phone charged, because I used to have journalist groups on my address books, and I used to type those SMS messages, and I used to send them in one go. So say around 50 journalists were getting my SMS at one time. And a time came that things became so competitive that I realized that the names which were starting with A were getting the message earlier than the names which were starting with Z. And what was, and it used to be so competitive that the moment they used to get my message, they used to forward it to the newsroom, and on the TV set, they used to start scrolling, running the scrolls. So some of those whose names were starting with Z, they started complaining that channel started relaying it on their scrolls before me. How come they got the message before me? And I was wondering, well, why is that happening? And then I realized that, okay, it is because of the phone is taking out messages in the order of in the alphabetical order. And even a lapse of 5 to 10 seconds because of that was making a difference to the communication. Those days, my BlackBerry phone used to be my biggest asset. I used to keep it ready all the time. I used to keep it 100% all the time. I knew that if there is a power breakdown, then there is a generator at home from which I could charge my phone and my laptop. Laptop wasn't needed that much. I used to type the statements, even the press releases on my BlackBerry. So that is how I use that part of communication where your gadgets should be ready all the time. We have generators in Karachi, Pakistan. So whenever the rain was coming, we knew that there was enough, because you are not in the office all the time. you come home and it's 24/7, so you have enough inventory of petrol at home to run the generators. You have other resources for energy to charge your phone and your laptop. So all that was part of crisis comms. So yeah.
What for PR comms people here in the UK who might be facing it for the first time? What are the kind of top tips for them to be ready? I mean, you've said one, which is keep your things charged, your devices charged. Are there any other kind of key tips that they can take away?
Yeah, your phone book should be immaculate. Your like at that time, I used to have those groups in my address book. So there was one group for the journalists on TV channels. That was a priority group because that was live. The second group used to be the print media group. That wasn't on priority because I knew that even if I get an hour late with them, their deadline is there. They are not going into print right now. So I knew their deadline for the print. So your address book should be ready. Your address book for other departments or within the organization should be ready. Your address book for departments outside should be ready all the time. Which organizations you are supposed to get in touch with if that scenario comes. So all that data should be ready with you. You should be able to write the statements on your phone. You should have enough practice of doing that. If, for example, you are outside, you are having a dinner somewhere, and the thing happens, nobody will say that you can't work right now. You can't tell that. So you should be able to should be so used to with your phone that you should be able to type your press releases, your statements, your messages. These days, this WhatsApp is a very good asset for communication. You should have your WhatsApp lists. I'm not talking about groups, but I'm talking about lists. WhatsApp lists should be ready for journalists and all that. For different, you can group them differently, uh, so that you you are able to write immediately. You are able to transmit your messages immediately with different groups within your organization, with media, with government, and all that. So all those phone books should be ready with you. On a personal level, Amanda, I have learned that um, for an organization, its biggest asset is its employees when it comes to communication. I mean, they are the biggest advocates. If I hear somebody talking good about her organization, which I don't hear, which I'm sure you haven't heard often as well. People
Mm.
usually don't talk well about their organization, but if somebody is doing that, then you have to value that and you have to plan that advocacy from your employees. Uh, when I was on that job, even today, it's been 10 years. The things have not changed much. Still, when I talk to people, to journalists, and to my family and to my friends, I try to explain to them the situation. It's uh, it's not that I worked there for 18 months and over there. No, the truth the truth should be communicated no matter how old it is.